Rihanna says, how do you organize your client files? All digital. Are you talking about my files in regards to my client? You're not talking about their files, right? I'm going to answer as if you said it the first way. All mine are digital. I don't really do like the paper intake form and all that stuff. Like I know some people feel like really strongly about having like paperwork, but yeah, I put it all in like really basic like Google Drive documents. I have one Excel sheet, like I have an Excel spreadsheet where I kind of have, I track, you know, I mean, I have like a lifetime history of all of my clients, but also like if somebody has bought a package of, if they've bought a package of 8 sessions, and so I know like, okay, I have 24 hours that I'm spending with them, 24 in-home hours that I'm spending with them, then I track like, okay, you know, kind of the burn down until we get to the end of their package, and I kind of have like a projected date of like, okay, when do I need to offer them, you know, the upsell or re-sign or whatever. So I have like that kind of thing tracked. I also keep like a running, okay, how should I say this? If you guys ever wanted to think about getting certified as a professional organizer, that is something that I could certainly help you find the information about. You have to have 1,500 paid hours of hands-on organizing experience with your clients. There's a few other things that qualify for those hours, but not very many. It's a lot of hours. You have to have 1,500 paid hours of experience, but it has to be within 3 years before you sit down and take the certification exam. There are some girls in our group who are certified, so they are probably much more qualified to tell you about that than me. When I first started, of course, I was tracking my hours, and then after a while, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you know how many hours, like, I mean, you'd have to do 500 hours a year, which is 10 hours a week, of just organizing in order to even qualify to sit down and take that. And so I would love to talk to some people in our group or anywhere really who, you know, put the effort in to do that and find out how they did that, because you know what that indicates to me is that they were good as hell at selling themselves, or either that or they took a lot of low paying clients in order to get their hours, like just to get their hours in. So that's kind of a choice that you have to make, but that's another thing that I kind of used to track. Now I kind of know where I stand, but now my hours, let's see, I started 2.5 years ago. I mean, there's no way I'm on track, because I went from doing, I mean, I'm not anywhere near on track, because I went from doing it, you know, more or less full time, and then I did it part time for a while. And then I think that the hours that I spent for all the people that I did DIY plans for doesn't count. So that's a lot of money that I made that doesn't count towards like certified hours. So that was a waste. But anyway, I have all that tracked in my Google documents too. All right. Okay, Melissa says, I feel like you can network with cleaning services. Yes, I think so. I think so. Again, you kind of want to have a plan for what you're doing. Like, you don't want to just like randomly, you know, you probably want to network more with the privately owned, like, ladies or one-on-one people who have an established clientele, like, of their own. Like, you don't want to just randomly call up, like, Mary Maids and say, hi, can you leave my business cards in your clients' homes? Like, that's not going to help you, I don't think. Okay. Jay says, customers will get to know your house cleaning prices, which are very different from organizing prices, and so they might want organizing for cleaning prices. And I believe Jay knows this firsthand, because Jay, have you done house cleaning, or are you still doing that is my question. I'm not sure. Okay, Veronica says, so what if the space is not clean? Would I tell them it has to be clean before I start the space? Ooh, this is a good question. The only thing I can tell you is that I make it clear, it's clear in my contract, and my contract is like an all-in-one document with my, just like my more or less brochure information. I mean, I just email it to them. I don't print it out for them until they're ready to sign the contract part. But I do make it clear that I'm not a house cleaning service. That's actually written in my contract. And so, but I don't have anything written in there that says that I require your space to be clean. Because, for example, if I'm working in somebody's garage, like, it's not going to be super clean. All right, Joanne says, what if your time goes past what you offered, I'm sorry. What if your time goes past what you offered? What do? You don't want to lose out on money. Yeah, so you have to be like super clear on your boundaries about your start and end time. Like, if you're booked from 9 to 12 at a client's house, like, you're kind of wrapping things up, and we talked about this a few weeks ago in the chat, about, you know, you don't want to leave your clients with a mess, so you sort of have to do a little bit of like, not cleaning up, but at least like straightening things, because if you're in the middle of a huge organizing job and you're not going to be done, you don't want to leave things like left out. You need to kind of like, you know, contain them or categorize them, or otherwise kind of push them into a corner until you come back the next time. And I find that usually takes like at least 20 or 30 minutes. So you need to be very aware of your time there and like what you guys have agreed to accomplish. And so that when the clock strikes 12, you already have, I mean, well, you already have your money anyway, but like you have your purse, and you know, you have your calendar, and you've already reconfirmed your next booking with her. Like you guys are like, okay, so we talked about next week. Are we still good for that? You're like, yes. Like you guys have already wrapped up and had all that conversation, so that you are leaving at 12. And it really helps. Like Lainey's talked about this before too, that if you have an issue with this, like, and you're just kind of hanging out and talking, and the client is just like, oh my gosh, like you are so wonderful, and you are somebody new to tell all my stories to, and you're just like, I love you too, but I have a dentist appointment or whatever. Like you have to get out of there. You got to go. Or otherwise, again, you're like eating away at your profit margin and really establishing very bad habits for not just that client, but once you do it for one, you'll do it for more of them. Like you can't be a doormat. All right. Annabelle says, what did you mean when you did the DIY process? Okay, so one thing that I started offering pretty early on in my business was that I would do a DIY consultation. Well, basically I would go do the same consultation process that I would be doing if I went to their house for a regular like in-home, like if they want to talk to me about like me helping them and do like the hands-on. So I call it like hands-on versus them getting a DIY plan. So what I would do is I go into their house and I do the same consultation that I would be doing anyway, but then I would leave and I would spend a certain amount of time. Obviously it took me longer at the beginning because I had to figure out how to do it, and then I got faster at it as I went, because I could sort of like reuse parts of other projects that I had done or other DIY like write-ups I had already done. Like if a space was really similar, then I could kind of like copy and paste parts of the same thing into their plan. So basically write out like an entire plan for them of how I would attack their project. Like here's where I would start, here's your action steps, you know, based on what you talked about your goals being, like here's what I would put like as kind of like a due date or like an expected milestone in your project. And I would email that to them. And like that's what they're paying for. Like they're paying for me to basically outline the entire process for them. So they basically, the benefit of this happening is, the benefit of them hiring you to come do this is they have a professional organizer in their home with your eyes like on their exact situation and really seeing like what the real deal is, but they're not paying for you to come and actually do it with them. Like they're paying for you to put all the puzzle pieces together, and like that's the thing that I'm like so good at and so fast at, and I can write it up really well, and then they take that and run with it. It's kind of like paying a personal trainer to put together like a nutrition plan for you. Is kind of a similar idea.